Hello again. We're delighted that you've returned. Your seat is ready, so as soon as you've left your burdens behind, make yourself comfortable. Just a reminder, this is Chapter 6. You'll find the earlier chapters on our website. Someone told us that the first 15 might be deleted after they're posted. So please, if you're interested in hearing them, we advise you to do so promptly. We're really happy when you're here. And when you subscribe, it's even better because we honestly don't know how to find you. It's just lovely when you're here, and it's not the same when you're not. If you're all settled, we'll begin again with Chapter 6 of A Flower of Freedom. It's an original book written by me, Deborah Reeves. All rights to the book and to this presentation of it are reserved. Here we go. Chapter 6, Special Delivery. Dr. Donovan said she's a fine, healthy girl. There's no need for her to remain here. I can have the paperwork prepared within an hour, and then we can turn her over to you. You understand that it is imperative that you seek out legal counsel for the adoption. Here's the card of someone who I know who always assists me in cases like this. I'll do what I can to facilitate it. Oscar took the card that the doctor handed over to him. In under an hour, the nurses bundled up tiny Marie, and they placed her into Oscar's waiting arms. He said, "Welcome to this beautiful world, little Marie. I will be your papa. We will explore it together." And he turned, and he exited the hospital. A cab was waiting out in front to take him home. The cab dropped him off at his building. He took the stairs and knocked on the door of his own apartment. When his wife answered, she smiled, and she thought he was playing a silly joke. Then she saw the baby. Then she looked behind him for Anne-Marie. She looked up into his eyes, and he shook his head. The next wail was not one from a baby. The next days were not easy ones. Arrangements had to be made for Anne-Marie. They put a notice in the newspaper. They did not know why they did it. There was no one in Montreal who really knew Anne-Marie well, but it seemed wrong for her life to end with no one knowing about it. They met the adoption lawyer to make arrangements for their family. The doctor and his wife, and the lawyer and his wife, came to the funeral mass. They were there for the christenings too. 2 newborns and 2 tired people lived in that apartment in the Rosemont district of Montreal. One night, when Oscar was extremely tired from walking the floor with Bertie, he accidentally put him into the crib with Marie. When Bertie immediately stopped wailing, Oscar simply thanked God, and he went and laid down with his wife. When they awoke hours later, they realized that they had slept for 4 straight hours. They rushed to the crib to find out what was wrong with the babies. The 2 newborns were sleeping side by side in comfort that they had appeared to have been previously missing. Those 2 children adored one another. Marie had the quieter disposition. At all times, Bertie looked to Marie to see that all was right in the world. As they grew, people began to think of them as twins, and their parents did not bother to correct the misconception. It was easy to understand why. They were born in the same month, and they were in the same classes at school. Bertie was tall, and Marie was petite, but they just looked like twins to everyone. They looked alike, so the error was understandable. They had the shiniest blonde hair and the bluest of blue eyes that looked at one another with love. They had the same bubbling laughter and sense of humor. In fact, if anyone was asked to recall them, their first memory was also of them, always of them giggling together. Their parents could not remember one serious disagreement between them. They reasoned. These little children reasoned and negotiated, but they always stood their ground when they believed that they were right until one or the other saw another perspective. It infuriated some of the teachers when one of the children would speak up to correct some misconception in front of the class. But they could not stay angry with those two for long, most especially because they were usually quite correct about the matter. God help anyone who tried to harm one of them, because hell hath no fury like a twin who thinks his twin is threatened, even if it's their almost twin. It's as though they had an umbilicus between them. They watched out for one another, even when they appeared to be totally engrossed in a project. They seemed to have some sort of subliminal connection that made them aware of the other's feelings. But then, they both watched out for others as well. It was in their nature. Bullies did not stand a chance in their class. Everyone who knew them felt that when they were together, they were protected by the angels, and everyone around them benefited from it. The children were exceedingly bright. Marie was almost always could be found with her nose in a book, and Bertie started building things from the moment he could stack one box on top of another. They resisted being separated with a vengeance. They continued to share a room in the apartment for many years, even when the apartment with 3 bedrooms became available on the 3rd floor of the building. Their parents thought they would like their own rooms. "You won't be separated," Oscar had pleaded with the little stubborn faces. "You'll be right next door in your own home." He was met with sullen shakes of both heads. They all ended up staying in the same 2-bedroom apartment for many years. Their parents could hear them chatting about things Marie had read or Bertie had learned long after lights out each night. It was as though they were shaping the world around them with their inner light. They seemed to be raking in all the knowledge that 2 minds could gather so that they could one day build a better world for everyone. Oscar and his wife ran interference to enable their highest ambitions. At times, when he had to defend the children or fight for an opportunity for them, Oscar thought, "Bring it on. I'm their papa after all. You will have to go through me to trash their hopes and dreams." Both parents were convinced that paving the way for the children was their purpose in life. That's the end of this chapter. Again, thank you for being here. It's just better when you're here. Thank you. I hope to see you for the next chapter. The next chapter is chapter 7. It's called Canadian Maple Syrup. With warm regards, your friend, Deborah Reeves.